Yeah, push that power down to the states. And like I said before, I'm all about deconsolidation of power at every level of governance.
As much as we know about prohibitions, of all kinds, and what they do to people, how they ruin their lives, how they turn groups of people against each other, how much death they cause. You see the pitfalls and the dangers of prohibiting something, even like abortion. As dangerous as it is already, you want to make it more dangerous, you want to make it more deadly, you prohibit it. State level, national level, making laws for people not to do things don't work. If they did, we wouldn't have any problems because we got laws against everything now. What is going to work in this circumstance is education. I believe in choice. Happens to be with abortion, I believe you should make your choice with forethought rather than hindsight. Everyone has to die. Choice comes responsibility. We talked about that earlier. Just more so than any other issue brings that home. Government's not the answer. Teaching people what's right is.
All right, well, WRJ, the subject is war. Is it right for the U.S. to intervene? Oh, this is 60 seconds? Yes. Right for the U.S. to intervene to save civilian lives in another country when they're being killed by their government?
I do not believe in the United States getting involved in foreign wars or regional conflicts. I believe that the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines which have signed up have done so to defend the Constitution and to defend the Republic and the fellow citizens. And they did not sign up to put their lives on the line for regional conflicts or foreign wars.
You're here.
Now, I do believe, though, that there is a provision within the Constitution for international instances such as what you've just mentioned in the question to be dealt with, but without having the bill fed to the taxpayer or to have our soldiers be the ones that have to pay the butcher's bill. And that is through the judicious application of the letters of marque, which would empower privateers to act on the international stage in humanitarian efforts that are on their conscience, and to do so at no cost to the U.S. taxpayer and at no cost to the butcher's bill to our soldiers.
We shouldn't be involved in wars in other countries because every country will have a war here and there. We'll always be in wars. We see that it has to be stopped so that the rule is no intervention.
I think it had to be taken on a case-by-case basis. I mean, there are going to be some, I don't think you can make a flat rule. But I'm very interested in hearing you use the letters of marque explanation. That's exactly the way I would go as well.
The question is whether we have the right to go into another country and intervene because their country's bombing. We don't have the right to do any such thing. I don't have the right to go over and kill my neighbor because I see him come home with a new shotgun and I get it in my mind that, well, you know, next week he might use that thing on me. I better preemptive about this. Go ahead and take him out. I don't have to worry about it. You go to jail. You don't have that right. You don't get to make that choice. You need to do governance. We need to, we don't like the police state here at home. Why in the world would we think it'd be a good idea to take that police state on the road and that other people are going to like it? We can't be the policemen of the world. It's impossible for us to do that job, and it's wrong and immoral for us to hold that promise up to the rest of the world, knowing that we can't keep it.
Well, the question was if these governments were killing civilians. The question did not state whether those civilians were U.S. citizens or whether they were citizens of the other country. I'm leaning very strongly towards protecting U.S. citizens no matter where they are. But I'm also very opposed to invading other countries. Other countries could probably make a pretty good case that the U.S. government's hands are not clean. They have certainly killed our citizens here. And how would we feel if Britain decided to invade us again because of an incident like Waco several years ago, where many people were killed by the government? And I don't like them coming over here. They're not going to like us going over there, so I would be extremely hesitant in doing anything about it. Can I use my my carry? Oh, that's all right.
All right, Carl, it's up to you. I've been kind of tough on you guys here. Oh, you were the first one last time? Okay.
I just did it.
You were first on that.
Just trying to put the pressure on the
Oh, I'm sorry.
However, this is really going to be tough because I'm going to open up for another audience question. Appeal to Lupe if you want to ask a question, and this will be a 2-minute answer.
How many questions are we gonna get from the audience?
This one and then one more.
All right. Because I know I might have a question, so.
Politics, baby.
All right.
Politics.
Well, can we take 2 questions from the audience this time?
I think we have time because you guys are getting
All right.
through this pretty well.
All right. I have 2 people that really, they have their hands up, they really want to ask, so I want to make sure. Go ahead, because I know you had your hand up earlier, we'll get to you, Crystal, next.
And this one, we're going to start with Carl, and then we'll do another one, the next one we'll start with. Then we'll get back.
Sorry, I don't mean to change your format, Mr. Moderator.
That's all right.
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the media lately about the EPA, and several of you have mentioned regulation hurting job growth. So, in regards to the EPA as president, where would you draw them having the responsibility to protect people's air and water as private rights? And where would it be unconstitutional regulation on private business?
More than likely, we need to scrap what the EPA has been doing to, from a libertarian extent, try to do it properly if we're going to do it at all. And we need to protect our water supply. And I'm sure that the EPA regulations go so far beyond that maybe it's better just scrapping them and trying it, starting all over again.
Well, you can't exactly scrap them all, but I mean, we do need to gut most of these big government organizations. That's just such a tough question. I can't answer it here. I'd have to have people who are informed give me their opinions and make a decision.
Oh, I disagree. I think we can scrap them all. When I become president, I plan on making the Supreme Court the busiest people in this country. They're going to want to hear just about everything we do. EPA is no different than the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Education. It starts out with a good idea. EPA especially, that folks, the United States government is the largest polluter on the face of the earth. Now, we're going to turn it over to them to fix the pollution problem? I just can't see that happening. I mean, problem is regulation. Problem is government. Get in the way. You name any circumstance. Talk about immigration. EPA. I wrote an op-ed on the agriculture department here 2 or 3 weeks ago. Just on Largo, I told my secretary, press secretary, I said, look into the Department of Agriculture. I said, you know, what I know about them is that we pay a lot of people to grow nothing. That's what I knew about them. I said, this has got to be one of the silliest programs in the world. I didn't realize how silly it could be until he started doing the research, and we found out, you know, the agriculture department is the food stamp people, the WIC people. I was in the restroom of my favorite Thai place at home about 2 weeks ago. They have recently innovated inside the materials they used for the wall. Won't ever rot, won't ever go away. Was approved by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I mean, all these programs are spread out so far. On one hand, I don't know what the other's doing. They're spending, 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 and that's what we have a problem with in this country. It's not a budget crisis, it's a spending crisis. We've got to stop all of this.
The root of the problem with the EPA goes back to property rights, and it goes so far as that, let's use rivers as an example, that they don't belong to anybody, they belong to everybody. Well, with that theory that they belong to everybody, it ends up that they really belong to nobody. And if we had property rights, like I think we should on all property, individual property rights, somebody owns the river or conglomeration of group of people own the river, and somebody dumps a bunch of garbage in it, you're going to sue them. You're going to collect, because you're going to enforce property rights. And that's what we need to focus on, I think, is protecting property rights, not governmental rights, but property rights. And all this land out in western United States that belongs to the government, of course, a lot of it has environmental problems, and we have endangered species on them because they essentially belong to nobody. But that's a long issue. It can take a long time. You could probably write several books on the whole issue, but I still say the whole thing gets down to property rights, and that's what we need to focus on.
Thank you for the question, Mr. President. I will work to return all of these federal lands back to the states, the native nations, and the citizens to whom they should belong. That done, there is much less of a need for any type of role for the EPA. In fact, there's almost no need for the EPA, because what would remain of the federal lands then would be those constitutionally enumerated properties, forts, arsenals, and so forth. So what I would want to do is empower those entities that I just mentioned, the individuals, the states, and the native nations, to provide their own environmental regulations or none, as they see fit. And as has also been mentioned, also to make sure that there is access to the courts for the trial of environmental torts, and to push for those trials to happen quickly, so that way any type of environmental tort that was occurring could be dealt with swiftly, especially as it applied to maybe a waterway that was separating two states or that involved multiple states. So I think that the solution isn't more EPA regulation. The EPA has not been the be-all, end-all at keeping our air and our water clean or stopping pollution. But these federal lands should not be federal lands. They should belong to our states and to our native nations and to private citizens. And it should be on those entities to figure out how best to protect their environment.
All right, who was the other question? Crystal. Okay, and the answer to this one is going to be, we're kind of limited to 90 seconds. Most of them aren't using the full two. We have to kind of move things along. And who was year first? Phil?
What should the immigration policy of the